Welcome to the Peak Podcast. My name is Kyle Nelson. I am fired up for this conversation. Today, I have my good friend, my co-host, my business partner, my good buddy, Mr. Eli Lippe.
How we doing, man?
Good, man.
I'm good. I know you're good.
How's the beard going, man?
It's great. It's great. I've cut it off today. It feels very cold.
For a little frame.
It does feel. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. It's cold, pale. I feel pale under the bottom. It's all good. I'm happy though. It doesn't matter.
For those of you that are listening, Eli chopped off his beard, and we always have a little banter before the call, and
there it was.
Yeah, looks pretty bad. I mean, it looks great, man. Before we get started, this is the Peak Podcast where we interview and have conversations with other coaches and consultants and business owners and entrepreneurs, and really talk about what that peak moment was when they felt like they had that aha moment of having something they wanted to bring to the world with impact. And typically that's their business. And there's usually some really good conversations around that.
Huge.
Yes.
And some great nuggets for the audience.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Besides that, we are the co-founders of Peak Fulfillment. We do self-guided solo retreats where you're going to dive in and do some self-reflection, some self-discovery, and some vision crafting, and really feel solitude, and really find out a lot about yourself, unfold quite a bit.
100%.
Maybe change a little identity shift, maybe find some limited beliefs. I'm not sure. But without further ado, let's bring on Alex Potter. He is the founder of Alex Potter Coaching and Consulting, life coach, and so much more. Alex, welcome to the Peak Podcast.
Thank you. I'm really glad to be here.
Awesome. Alex, where are you located? In the pre-chat, I usually ask that question, but where are you based out of?
So I'm north of Boston.
Okay.
It's a town called Newburyport. It's about an hour north of Boston.
Right on. Well, very cool. Have you always lived there? Did you just move there during the pandemic?
No, I'm from Germany. I moved to Chicago about 30 years ago. Then I moved to Boston, and a couple of years ago up to Newburyport.
Well, right on. Well, thank you so much for being here. Excited to have you here. Alex, kick us off with, what are you up to?
Well, before that, we got to do a little icebreaker.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah, of course. Eli.
Usually it's me.
We're going to do a little icebreaker with you, Alex, if you're fine with that.
Yeah.
So before we get started with love, if you had dinner tonight and there was 3 people, either from history or currently living, that you could have that dinner with, have a phenomenal conversation, well, who would that be?
I would choose Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and Buddha.
Love it. That would be.
Who was the last one?
Buddha.
That
would be a very good combo. You'd really be able to probably unlock any question.
Very zened out too. I feel like it'd be a calm conversation. Wow, that is awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
that's beautiful. Alex, we're going to jump in. Tell us more about what you're working on. Tell us more about your coaching practice, your leadership consulting group. What do you got going there?
All right. Yeah, thanks for the question. So I work primarily with leaders, visionaries, entrepreneurs, creatives, and I help them realize their fullest potential. Like a lot of the people I work with, they feel that they've plateaued. They feel that there's more potential to be tapped into. They feel a little stuck, but they have generally achieved success, but want to take their life or career to the next level.
No way. That's very cool. I remember it all comes back to me after we've done our pre-chat.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of a lot of alignment. Alex, we've talked about this before, but a lot of alignment in terms of what we do and the students that go through our program, what their sticking point is, and then what their outcome is when they're done.
Yeah. So when a leader comes to you and they're looking to kind of get unstuck and they've hit a plateau, I assume, and they're really trying to look to level up in their career, maybe in their life, what do you find is a very typical or regular issue you find that people are experiencing currently? Is it a specific limited belief that maybe connects to a fear or an excuse that they're creating for themselves? Is it usually something right in front of them that they just, they're working too hard to see through the fog to find it, but really it's right there? What are some of the common things that you see?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think some of the biggest challenges are that people are stuck in old conditioned patterns including limiting beliefs, limiting stories they have about themselves. They're stuck in their comfort zone. They may have tried stepping out of their comfort zone, but then encountered fears that have caused them to retreat back into their comfort zone. And they just need a little help, right? To gain a little perspective, have a little bit of support, and help them see. Because often what happens when our conditioned behavioral patterns take over, they have a lot of survival energy to them. Right. And when they get activated, they tend to control and dominate our actions and decisions. And then we don't even know that they're in charge. They're in the driver's seat. Right. And so it's important to see what's going on, to create a little bit of distance, right, so that we can put ourselves back in the driver's seat.
Man, the driver's seat.
Yeah. That's a really good way to look at it.
That is a good way to look at it. What was the moment for you? What was the calling that gravitated you for this kind of work? Did you have an experience? Did you have a mentor? I mean, how did you get involved in this?
I actually started out when I was pretty young. I was a teenager, and the mother of a friend of mine introduced me to personal development books.
Okay.
And so at that point, I learned about the power of our subconscious mind, the power of belief, the power of visualization, right? And I started experimenting with those concepts and approaches, and I learned that they actually work, right? And then I also had this desire and passion to help others to tap into their own power and potential and see the true power, this true greatness that they have inside of themselves, right? And so that led me onto a path of working with leaders and visionaries. I also work with organizations. I've had a career in organizational development, where I learned the ins and outs of being a leader myself. And and I learned over the years that I was very passionate about coaching, about personal development, also about spiritual development. And I always felt inspired to find a way to bring my personal experiences of being stuck and sometimes suffering and having the same experiences and struggles that I'm helping my clients deal with and help them overcome, and to help apply what I've learned over the years in my work and help others to create the impact that they are seeking to have.
Powerful work that you're doing, Alex. It's inspiring that it came just naturally for you through becoming a stronger leader, being involved in personal development at an early age. I'm very similar. I've been working on myself. I think since I was like 17, 16 is when I first was kind of introduced to Bob Proctor and a few other guys that really inspired me. But what was that transition like when you started to go from, the jobs that you were working to actual coaching? Because a lot of times, you got to eat your own dog food. And that can be really hard. A lot of coaches that we talk to, they can pour out and help others. But when it comes to actually working on them, they also need some focus as well. So what was that kind of transitional time like? How did you kind of get started? What were some of the feelings you had? I'm sure it was a lot of excitement. But what was kind of going on in your life at that time?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I got to a point where I felt that I wasn't living my true purpose, right? That I felt like while I was doing a lot of leadership development and creating a positive impact on the world, I felt like that I wasn't really giving myself enough space to be a coach, right? To do this work full time, right? And I jumped into the opportunity when I was going through a career transition, and we moved from Chicago. My wife and I moved from the Chicago to the East Coast as an opportunity and an invitation to open my own shop and to do coaching full time. And that wasn't easy because there are a lot of programs that say you can become a coach within a short amount of time and have a successful business. And yes, you can clearly level up and develop business infrastructure, right? But it takes time and commitment to be a good coach, right? We have to show up every single day. We have to practice. We have to keep learning. We have to keep practicing, right? And I learned that this is it's a lifelong journey, right? Of showing up every day, right? Of being committed, and making personal development a way of life. And that is also one of the biggest principles that I install in my clients.
Love that.
That right there, making personal development a way of life.
Yep.
Not just like working on it when you feel like you need to work on it.
Yeah.
That's
like huge. A New Year's resolution. 1 year I'm going to do this.
Right. I listened to another motivational podcast. Or I read this book, and then I'm good for a week, and then I slip back into my own ways. Making personal development as a way of life.
Exactly. Wow. Yeah. Very cool, Alex. I love that. What is one thing that you do daily, kind of a daily habit or ritual that you instill in your students? But what is something from a personal development standpoint that you do for yourself every day, day in, day out, and you don't miss a beat?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, because I think that's where it's at, right? That's where I feel like we can have the greatest leverage, right? By showing up every day and engaging in daily practices. And so what I do is, right, so I take a part of my morning to do a meditation, to a visualization, to do a gratitude practice. I engage my body. I do a workout routine. I eat a healthy, nutritious breakfast. And so it's really about my mindset, right? Getting ready, like putting myself in the driver's seat, right? And saying, okay, this is my intentions for today, for the week, right? What are the bigger goals that I'm working towards, right? This year, how do I need to show up today, right? To be in full alignment with my values, with my vision, right? And what do I need to do to optimize my mindset, my emotions, right? And my power, like connecting to that, right? Because there's so much distraction coming at us every day, right? And if I don't do that at the beginning of the day, right, I come subject to other people's agenda, right? They're pulling me in all kinds of directions, right? And so this helps me to just like stay focused, know what I'm looking for, right? But also to respond to challenges that come up during the day, right? From a place of vision and value. So I have direction, I have a clear path, and I always know where I'm going.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. It's powerful.
Yeah, the practices and the discipline and really keeping up with that, over time, it becomes a strong habit where it doesn't really come, you have to stay disciplined, but it just becomes part of who you are. And it sounds like you do have your mornings down very well. I mean, the best time to really practice these things is first thing in the morning, because then you have so much success and so much completion and so much already checked off to start your day, to get yourself in that positive mindset.
Stack some wins.
Stack the wins, and really double down on that growth mindset first thing in the day. I love that, Alex. I love that.
I do too. From our perspective, most of our students that go through our program have some acumen of personal development, right? They've either tried a series of things that they have not worked, so they end up going on a solo retreat, a self-guided solo retreat. For your students, what is the level of acumen coming into your program? Do they have a foundation of it? Are you giving them a clean, fresh slate and like introducing it to them? Tell us more about the students that come in and go through your program.
Yeah. So the people I work with, they generally tend to have gone through a certain level of personal development, right? So there's a foundational level present, right? Or they have gone through different types of therapy, right? So they've done work. They have done work on themselves. So there's a context, right? And I also often find that people have not found what they were looking for because of what you just were saying, right? They've been looking outside of themselves, right, for the solution, right, for the golden key to help them to reach the success they want, right? And I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I've been working with a coach for many years, right? But I think the key is to find people and programs and resources that help us to unleash the power that's inside of us, so that we stop relying on the resource, the source of our well-being, of our happiness, of our success to be outside of us. So that's a really important piece. And that's why I also believe it's important to keep engaging in practices that help us to continuously develop a deeper connection with our true, deeper or higher self, whatever works for you, so that we can more and more rely on ourselves and our own inner wisdom and knowing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
There's power with them, babe.
Love
It's
it.
real.
Be in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things I took away.
Yeah. Well, Alex, before we wrap things up, we like to ask our guests if there's one thing that you hope that our audience takes away from this conversation. Maybe it's an action tip, maybe it's just something to kind of ponder and think on. What would that be for you?
Yeah, I would say that don't listen to your fears, right? Because your fears are not telling you the truth.
Okay.
Right? Listen to your inner wisdom, right? You have a knowing, you have a power inside of you that knows the path to where you want to go.
Let's get
right?
going.
Trust in yourself, believe in yourself, right? And know when fear shows up, right? It's time to shift. It's time to align with your true power, with your inner knowing, and don't ever give up. Don't ever give up.
Beautiful. Alex, that was phenomenal, man.
Love it.
You're giving the audience a lot to chew on, including us.
Yeah.
Chewing.
Alex, if people want to connect with you, maybe get some interest in your coaching and consulting, where could they reach out, connect with you? Where would they find you online?
Yeah. So they can go to my website, alexpoter.com. They can follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, Alex, thank you so much for your time, man. We appreciate you being on the Peak Podcast.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. I really enjoyed being with you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Alex. Man, that was awesome. The driver's seat, but the alignment of like what is your goals that morning, that week, you're in the driver's seat.
That's the takeaway.
All the other stuff's going to hit you. You know it's going to hit you.
Yes.
You have to. It's undeniable that it's.
You have to know you're in the driver's seat. It makes more controllables in your life.
It does.
Rather than uncontrollables.
Yeah.
And typically, a lot of what we find is a lot of people's uncontrollables are actually controllable.
That's true. That was beautiful.
It was a great conversation. Alex, man, if you are looking to listen to more episodes with great guests just like Alex, make sure to subscribe to our podcast wherever you're listening. And we cannot wait to bring you along on the next Peak Podcast.
See you guys.